need a haircut, actually. It's too long.
Out of control, you hippie.
Mm,
You're trying to stream?
yes, I am streaming right now. Should be, at least.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it because I don't have a big audience, as you know, and you do, so it's fun. It's fun for me.
Yeah, that's close enough. Is there a way to switch the position, like make my face on the left or the right? Or do you have to do that on your end?
Do I have control of that? Is there a way to do that? Let me
Usually
see.
the other one's just like click and drag.
I can make you big. Click and drag, click and drag. This is Google Meet. Google Meet. I'll just make you big.
No, I don't want that. I want to have both our screens, but I'm like, it's like I'm looking the other direction. Because normally I have.
I see. I see. Uh-huh. I wonder if we leave the call and then you join first. No.
Too much work. Forget it.
Okay. We'll just pretend you can't bear the sight of me. You're looking away just to avert your eyes.
Yeah.
So do you remember chatting with me in 2019 in February and May? Do you have a vague recollection of that?
Yes, but you looked very much more like a black box with some white letters on it. You didn't have a face back then.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I wasn't live streaming back then, but I think I started around that time, and it's fun. I like the sloppiness of real conversation, and we didn't prepare anything today, but I thought we'd just chit chat. I watched your Rebecca Davis interview. I'm a huge fan. I just like her because I find her attractive, beautiful, and pleasant and nice, and I just like her energy. And we disagree about a lot of stuff, obviously, but she, in her conversation with you mentioned a couple of things I wouldn't mind touching on if you're comfortable with it. One is, I didn't know you're autistic. Is that a self-diagnosis, or is that an official?
No, I was diagnosed in my early 20s, mid 20s, something.
How old are you now?
Mark Foster, who's like an expert in the field, or something. 33.
Okay, so like a decade you've been diagnosed.
Yeah.
Is there any update on your diagnosis? Like, we're gonna find you in a little stream over here, like more well-defined niche within the spectrum, or do you move on the spectrum? Are you fixed on the spectrum? How does that work?
I don't think you can. Technically, I don't think that works that way. I think it's pretty permanent. Like high function autism is, for forms of autism, are like lifelong. I don't think they move or change.
Okay. I know Asperger's is one that's well known. You don't have that?
I think I was diagnosed with that too, but I don't remember. Not the part I remember.
Okay. Do you do a lot of follow-ups with these medical professionals, psychologists, or whatever they are?
Follow-ups.
Like, do you go regularly?
No. I used to go back in my mid 20s for a few years when I was doing therapy and stuff for the depression. I haven't gone in a long time.
Did it help? Is it something you'd like to do, or no?
No.
Is it all BS in your opinion?
I mean, therapy, I think, is the diagnosis, I guess, is probably correct. So I don't think that is, but therapy as a means to cure depression, I think, is mostly BS.
Yeah. As are the pharmaceutical pills. They just came out with some research studies saying, oops, it's not about the serotonin levels. Sorry about that. So a lot of hit and miss stuff. But, I've never been diagnosed with any mental illness, but I'm sure I have plenty. It's a very vague thing to diagnose anyway. But what would you say? And I've been diagnosed by my friends as being on the autism spectrum, just because I'm weird and obsessive and compulsive.
Yes,
a little bit not very compulsive.
The most legitimate strategy for getting diagnosed: ask your friends.
But it's sort of trendy now. It's kind of cool to be autistic. Lots of shows about it and stuff like that. And I've always been attracted to autistic people, certain ones, not all of them. I'm sort of afraid of the those with Tourette's. I think that's sort of scary. I don't like Tourette's. But
The one where they just say random words occasionally. Like that's not too
Fuck,
scary.
piss,
Mm,
cocksucker. That's
It's
what they do.
great. It's a great one. I
I don't
feel like
like
that
it.
one was every kid should just have that until age 12. It'd be great.
So you mentioned that you're a little bit obsessive. You like to obsess on your one favorite topic. Um, is there anything else? Like, do you have problems with social cues, like figuring out if someone's being sincere or sarcastic? Do you have problems with that?
I used to. I used to have problems. Like I remember there was a story once I was going to college, one of my college classes, and a professor was telling us we were doing like a two truths and a lie. It was a English class or a communications class or something, and uh, I noticed one of the things he said was a lie because if he had the financial resources to do it, he wouldn't be like a professor at like a community college where I was going. And I said that, and he was pissed. A serious burn for that guy. And I wasn't like intending to insult him. I didn't even realize I did insult him. I was just going through a logic tree of okay, so to accomplish this, you need this much money. So he works here. He doesn't earn that much money, so there's no way he's possibly afford that. So I was just doing a logic tree because of my autism. I didn't in any way realize or intend I was insulting him. And I used to be like that all the time. So I didn't have any idea about the emotional side of communication.
If you see a puppy that's limping and it's obviously starving and thirsty, do you naturally feel sympathy, like you want to give it comfort and food and water, or no?
I don't know.
You've never been in that situation.
No.
Have you ever had a tear in your eye for a rom-com or anything like that?
Yes. If it like they like remind me of my struggles in life, if I relate to them in some way.
Yeah. It's weird. Women, I think women cry more easily, but I wish I could cry more. It's like on my sort of bucket list of things to do is develop a little bit more head-heart connection. Is that something you're interested in?
Nope.
Yeah. Appreciate your candor. So, did you like Rebecca Davis?
Yes, she's nice. I don't like talking to people, so I don't know how to evaluate that
Oh,
question.
oh, I feel bad now. I'm making you talk to me.
I do it for a job. I get paid. That's what the viewership is for.
Okay. Do you have any favorite guests over the years? Like you've been doing this for years now, right?
Darth Dawkins.
How do you say his name?
Darth Dawkins.
Okay.
Because he got me the most views on top two most viewed videos.
Okay. Any did you have bad chemistry with any of your guests where you're like, I do not want to talk to this person ever again?
Darth Dawkins.
You serious?
Yeah, yeah. Like, we were doing screaming matches for all of them, but
Really?
got
How many episodes did you have him on for?
two, I think, and they're my two most viewed videos.
What's his worldview?
Presuppositionalism,
Is he a Christian?
debatable. I mean,
Okay.
he asserts to be.
Oh,
He's a very angry man.
oh, okay. Maybe can you hook me up with him and get him on my podcast? Is that possible?
Oh, he's
No?
on Club. I don't. He hasn't been on Discord in a while. He's on Clubhouse now. I don't go on Clubhouse. So you
Okay.
better to talk to Tom Rabbit and Clubhouse debates. But he doesn't ever schedule. You have to like just show up in
Okay.
his room and talk.
I see. Okay, okay. One of my most controversial guests was, well, I've had a couple, but one of them was, now I'm confused which one to tell you about, but I guess Aaron Raw, I really like him. He's very controversial. Do you like him?
Yeah, I've had him on. We had an interview. We
You
agree
get
on
along?
too much. Yeah, because he's an atheist, so he only gets angry if you like reject the science stuff, and he calls you a liar for not believing the science, which is very interesting. But yeah, I think I disagree with him on nuclear power, though. We disagreed on that.
That's not a big deal. Not a big deal. What about Kent Hovind? You had him on once or twice, or he was on your
Like
thing? Or?
5 times. We've done like 6 or 7 debates.
What's your chemistry like with him?
So the first few I was like deliberately very kind because he had a significantly larger channel. Now I'm a little more terse with him. So I mean, for me, I don't really care what like the interaction is like from because I don't enjoy the conversation anyway. But I think it's more fun when I'm more terse with him. Like the debate I did, the very newest one was, I think I was too terse. I think the one before this one was the best one where I was doing, can you get a non-kint from a kint? That one was probably the best one.
You mentioned also with Rebecca, because I don't watch a lot of online content, so I don't watch a lot of your content or anyone else's content. I just don't enjoy watching videos. But I've got listeners and followers of my podcast, not very many, but they all send me videos and stuff. It's like if I wanted to watch videos, I'd have an endless stream of stuff to watch, but I just don't enjoy it too much. But Rebecca did mention that, or you mentioned when you were talking to Rebecca that you had a girlfriend and she was super hot and then she dumped you. Is that too painful to talk about that?
I guess I have no idea.
Like, I mean, what was it like having a super hot girlfriend? Why did you like it? And why do you, the reason I'm asking this is because you don't enjoy talking to people, but your ex-girlfriend was presumably a person. So are there exceptions when you're getting nookie, or what's the deal there?
Yeah, it's just because it's my special interest in autism, being with a model, and it's everything that matters to me, and so it makes everything more tolerable, more enjoyable.
Okay, because when I heard you say that models were your interest, I thought you meant models of the universe and models of
No,
you're
no,
talking
no,
about.
that shit's all boring.
Okay. Okay, you're talking about runway models.
Yes,
Runway models.
Instagram models.
Oh, okay. Any household names of that I would recognize of chicks you think are hot?
I have no idea. It's Ariana Grande, Amber Heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay. We have different tastes. But anyway, I was just interested in your social life. Like you don't enjoy talking to people, but women are people, and I guess there's more to a relationship than talk, though. So,
yeah.
and chicks aren't really into philosophy and religion and atheism and stuff like that.
Not so sure about that one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I was
I have
watching
like I have
some.
like 6 women in the audience right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
But
But
yeah,
I was
the type I'm into is typically not into those things. That's for sure.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. I was just watching some chess. I'm not a great chess player, as I mentioned to you last time, but I do enjoy it. And I was watching some Magnus Carlsen stuff. And I just, for a moment, I just realized like the predominance of males in this great auditorium. It was just sort of overwhelming. And, I studied physics and it was a predominance of males in the physics department. And, you know, in philosophy departments. I've visited philosophy departments and it's predominantly males. Is that sexist for me to even make that observation, or is it just a coincidence that?
Well, it's a fact, and there's people on the left. If there are facts that go against their narrative, they're going to call it sexist or racist or whatever, which I think is wrong. But yeah, it's true. Yeah, there are more men in different kinds of fields, specifically physics and chess and things. There are lots of women in chess. There's just significantly less than there are men.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, the women who do play chess are actually like really attractive. It's weird. It's like you just go to women chess, FID or FID for the women's chess. A lot of them are like really attractive.
They got the
Same
good
with like,
genes.
because I go to a chess club and the women who go to the chess club are like attractive. They're fit, intelligent, not like overweight or anything. It's really weird.
Is that an option for you? Like a chess girl? Is that an option for you with your?
No, they're not to my standards.
Okay. You got high standards. What about race? Do you think Naomi Campbell was hot back when
I
she was
don't even
younger?
know who that is.
Supermodel, black. Is there a race thing where
So
they
I
have to
don't
be white?
actual supermodels I don't find attractive. Like there's one was Miranda Kerr. Like she's like the only actual supermodel who I think
Okay.
is hot.
Okay.
I'm more into like the Instagram model type.
I see. Girl next door, hot.
Sure.
Do they have fake boobs? Do you like fake boobs?
No, I like small boobs.
Yeah, me too. So, what about race? Is it a deal breaker if someone's got dark skin?
Typically, I don't find like African American as attractive. I have gone on a few dates with some like really attractive, the most attractive African Americans I've ever seen, but I don't find the facial structure as attractive.
Okay. Does that mean you're racist or no?
Maybe, don't know, don't care.
What beauty rating do you give yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the hottest possible?
5,
No, you're 6.
6.
6.5. 6.5. I'll give myself a 6, you're 6.5. But it's a subjective rating. So do you have a best friend in real life?
Nope,
Oh, you don't want one?
I don't like talking to people. Remember?
Okay. But you do it for a living. Have you got any techniques for improving your mood when you're grumpy and depressed?
Spend time with hot models.
Do you have any lined up?
I have one friend who is like a wing girl, goes with me to college bars and wing women's for me. She's
Okay.
attractive. She's pretty close to my type, not exactly, but
And do you have to turn girls down because there are a lot of them that want to get with you?
uh, no.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know how big your channel is and how many e girls, I guess they call them, how many e girls there are. You said there's 6 in your chat now.
Mm.
So, what did you study at college, university?
I went for computer programming,
Oh
got
yeah.
bored with that, started auditing classes in like philosophy and stuff.
Okay, yeah. I think I remember that. No, yeah. What are you currently reading? What are you excited about in the world of ideas?
Nothing.
You don't read?
Nope.
Do you study in other ways, like watching debates online and all that sort of stuff?
Used to, but haven't done that for a while.
Do you feel a need to be TJump, the online persona? Are you a caricature of yourself? Are you just being yourself naturally, or what?
Uh, so being myself, like who I was deliberately, was never speak to anybody for like 20 something years. So in a way, it's a caricature. It's just a bunch of learned traits that are not like the essence of who I am. So in a way, it is.
And it's always painful every time you have an interview?
Sort of. Not as much. Back when I didn't, before I had a girlfriend, yes, it was painful every time. Now it's mostly just bland.
Mm. It's like the those video games where you just have to grind through those grindy bits and stuff like that. Do you play a lot of video games?
Used to, but not anymore. Now I'm focused on social stuff, trying to go out more.
Ah, okay, okay. So you're actively fighting against your inclinations.
Yep, and have been for many years, 2 decades almost.
Cool. Very cool. So have you learned anything from chatting with theists? Like, has that improved your breadth of knowledge in any way, or do you just view it as a waste of time? Like all of the Christians you've talked to, and I don't know if you've talked to Muslims and Jews, have you?
Yep, and Hindus, and Mormons,
Okay.
flat earthers. So yes, I have learned a decent amount. Like fallibilism was something I learned about from Christian debates from Randall Rouser specifically and Trent Doherty, I think, and that updated my position quite a bit, learning that uh, the position of fallibilism versus infallibilism, and looking up different papers of the consensus views in philosophy and physics. My first debate with Blake Junta, I made an argument that the universe could be the infinite necessary being, and he's like, "Well, do you have any evidence for that?" And I was like, I don't need evidence for that. Like that doesn't. You just make. We're both just making stuff up. You're making up God stuff. I'm making up universe stuff. And then later on, I found like it's actually the consensus in physics that this is the case. This is the most prevalent models. And I found the like foundational attitudes towards quantum mechanics paper that describes these things. And I was like, oh, I wish I had this in the debate so I could throw it in his face and laugh. Like, ha, I was right. Suck it.
So you believe that? I don't believe that. I think that all evidence points to the uncaused first cause. We've gone down this road before. We don't need to do it again. But I mean, I think it's just silly to look at natural causes and natural effects and to say it's turtles all the way down.
I don't think so. I think the infinite regress is probably actually more plausible because there's no actual like basis in physics for necessary or contingent beings. Those are just made up terms made up by philosophers. So I think that the infinite regress side is the only one that's actually plausible in physics or taken seriously in physics.
Yeah, but if there's infinite time behind us, as we said in our previous discussions, if there's infinite time behind us, then everything has repeated an infinite number of times.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's like the fact that there's infinite time doesn't mean it's going to repeat. Like if you can
Yes,
count, you can count infinitely and never hit the same number.
We're not a number line. We're not a number line. We are material beings. We're configurations of matter, energy, and space-time. There's a difference. There's a difference between the number line, which is abstract, and
no. So it's like if I have two particles and they're moving away from each other, the distance can be represented by a number, and you can have just an infinite universe of just the two particles moving.
Yeah, and those two particles are passing by situations that have occurred not only infinite times in the past, but infinite times in the present. There's repetition. There's repetition, and necessarily repetition.
No.
There's necessarily repetition. We don't have an infinite number of configurations of matter, energy,
This was actually specifically addressed by Sean Carroll that there isn't a multiverse of just infinitely not repeating of everything because certain things don't repeat. It's not an infinite does not entail.
Things don't repeat because things don't repeat. That's not an argument.
It's like pi. The pi is a number.
Pi is a number. Pi is a number.
Right. So
that's
you can represent a number, and there's infinitely many series in the numbers, and none of them repeat. They never repeat.
Yeah, that's a relation. That's a relation, and its relation is described with numbers that are
a circle. Represents a circle. So numbers, even if they go on infinitely, don't have to repeat. Like numbers represent things.
Numbers don't have to repeat.
Numbers represent things in reality.
Yeah, numbers represent relations,
which means reality doesn't have to repeat.
No, but the relations are what are we?
Let's say I have infinite universes. One has one rock, two has two rocks, three has three rocks, four has four rocks. They don't have to repeat. You have infinitely many universes with a different number of rocks in each one. They don't have to repeat.
Let's start with universe one that has one rock in it. Is there infinite time behind that rock?
Sure.
Okay, so there's infinite repetition of every scenario that ever evolved or changed in that world.
Sure, in that one world, and you can have different worlds that don't have that.
Because you must admit, you're forced to admit that there are limits on the possible number of configurations of matter, energy in space-time. You're forced to admit that.
There's not. There's infinite. There's not a limit.
So there are infinite, for example, with the color spectrum in the visible spectrum, right? You want to imagine some sort of fantasy land where we've got a new color. It's new and exciting, and no one's ever seen it because it's not in our local presentation of the universe and all this woo-woo nonsense. But the fact is that there are limitations in the configurations of matter, energy, space-time, and that's why in the visible spectrum we've only got the colors that we've got.
Well, no. The fact that we see a specific range of colors doesn't mean those colors are determined or limited by the laws of physics. Like laws of physics could change and make different colors because colors are just a figment of our imagination. So yeah, we could definitely have a different spectrum of colors.
So you believe?
I mean, there actually is. So like women have there's a certain genetic modification in some women who have a fourth cone in their eye, and they literally see a different color.
Okay, so because 4 is greater than 3, therefore there can be an infinite number of cones. Like, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. We're talking with a pretty finite number here. 3 cones versus 4 cones, and now you're going to extrapolate to infinite cones, infinite colors.
Well,
Give me a
so
break. Give me a break.
there's no correlation between there's no necessary correlation between the colors we're seeing and the cones in our eyes. Like the universe can change those arbitrarily. There's no reason to think that there's a limit to the colors. And even if there were, the fact that you can only see like a specific range of colors doesn't mean that the universe is going to repeat in every respect.
No, I'm using it as an illustration of the fact that the configurations of matter, energy, and space-time are limited, and the electromagnetic waves and radiation, no matter which part of the spectrum you want to look at, it's finite. It's finite.
They're literally not. There's no limit to the number of laws of physics that can exist.
You think the numbers of laws are limitless?
Yes, unbounded? You can just add in extra laws. There could be more laws that happen.
Add one in. Add one in.
Yes.
Add one in. I'm asking you. Add one in.
What? Like,
let's see it.
Okay, I'm going to add in a moral law of physics where morality is real. It's going to be the TJump law. There you go. Added a new law of physics.
Okay, but it's just your fantasy. It's just a pure fantasy. It's not you. You can't add a law to nature. You can't. You can't, and I can't.
What?
So you're unable to. You're able to talk about it, Tom. You're able to fantasize like, hey, I could make a new law of nature.
Yes,
TJump law of add morality to physics. You can fantasize about that, but it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy. It's not reality. It's not reality. You just made it up. You just made it up.
So if there's an infinite past, that doesn't mean the infinite past has all of the laws we currently have today. That's not what it means. There's no logical necessity that
you don't have a reason. You don't have a reason
because
to say
you just made it up. You have made up the idea that the infinite regress entails the same laws as today. That is something you have made up, and that isn't the case. We don't know what is entailed in the infinite past, other than the infinite past. The infinite past may have changes in the laws of physics, or new laws of physics, or less laws of physics. Infinite past does not mean all things must remain the same as what we measure today in our universe. No one even thinks that's the case. Time and space began at the Big Bang, and something else preceded it. Time and space are emergent. That's the consensus in physics. So no one thinks that the laws of physics, as they are today, have always been the case. Gravity used to be repulsive at the early universe. Goose early universe inflation. Nobody thinks the laws of physics, as they are today, have been the same past eternally. It's not a thing.
Yeah, but the fact that we live in a well-ordered cosmos, that's what cosmos means, well-ordered universe. The fact that we could do natural science, the fact that it's well-ordered means that it's always been well-ordered, period. It's always been well-ordered. Therefore,
that doesn't follow.
Laws, yes, it does follow.
Like
it does follow.
Oh, like it could literally have just been complete randomness prior to the Big Bang.
And there is no randomness. There's no such thing as randomness. That's you're positing now uncaused effects, Tom.
Yes, which are also the consensus in physics. Effects. Literally the consensus in physics.
You're giving way too much respect to these atheistic morons. Way too much.
Stephen Hawking and Sean Carroll.
He's a moron. He's a moron. They're morons. They're morons because they don't understand philosophy. They don't understand metaphysics.
Yes, the physicists who've literally measured it and have testable predictions that confirm randomness. They're morons.
Yeah, well, you could be good at natural science and really bad at philosophy. That's just the way it is. Pick up a popular science book from the last century and just read the nonsense that the layers of interpretation and woo-woo that they're piling on top of good, clean, empirical science. The science is good. The science is good. The fantasy world that they live in, where there's no God and the
science is good, but the implications of the science not good.
The false implications. The false implications. The false implications.
How can you tell which ones are the false ones? Because you're just making stuff up too.
Metaphysics.
What metaphysics is just the description of what the ultimate principles of reality are.
Metaphysics is the basis of natural science. So you can't have natural science without making the axiomatic metaphysical assumptions upon which the natural sciences are built. The principle of sufficient reason, the principle of proportionate causality, the principle of causality.
PSR is rejected by the majority of philosophers. It's not taken seriously.
Humans are free to reject whatever they want. They can say a man is a woman is a man, and I can identify as a pink cow if I want to, and that I'll get applauded for that. I'll get promoted at every step. because that's the crazy world we live in. But you need to have yourself grounded in something other than just the spirit of the age, which is demonic and confused. We need
It's
metaphysics. We
more
need
that the
metaphysical.
PSR is dumb. It doesn't make sense. In physics, it has no basis. No one in physics takes the PSR seriously. In philosophy, it's been debunked by basic the logical possibility of brute facts. There's easy ways to debunk the PSR. It's not, which is why the majority of philosophers don't accept it.
If you want to argue for uncaused effects and you want to argue against the PSR, then you're arguing against natural science, period.
No, literally not.
Okay, so give me your elevator pitch for the PSR is not universally valid.
Brute facts are logically possible. That's a good one. I like that one. Second one, randomness has been confirmed as a law of physics. That one also that's also a good one. So both physics and philosophy both debunk the PSR, which is why, like, I think less, it's like 31% or something of philosophers accept the PSR. Like a third of philosophers.
The remnant, yeah. Remnant. You ever read the Old Testament?
Yes, multiple times. I read it all the time. I love the part of the bears killing the kids for making fun of the bald guy. Epic philosophy in that book.
There's always a remnant. Don't go with the herd, the stiff-necked herd. Don't go with the herd.
The PSR is the principle of sufficient reason, Logan. That's what we're referring to. Principle of sufficient reason.
So let's say that you're a scientist in a laboratory. Okay, I can prove the PSR very quickly and easily here to you, using common sense. So you're a laboratory technician. I can prove the universal validity of the PSR using common sense in 2 minutes.
Common sense, the greatest proof of universal metaphysics ever.
Well, you be the judge. You be the judge. I'm going to place you in a hypothetical situation, and you be the judge. Okay, so you're in a lab with your lab coat, and you're doing chemistry or physics or whatever. You're doing your experiment, and you observe something, and your colleagues all say, "Hey, I wonder what happened. I wonder what the cause is for that. I wonder what the reason is for this phenomenon we've observed." And you just turn and say, "It's just a brute fact. Don't worry about it. Don't look into it, whatever." Are you a better scientist or a worse scientist than your colleagues who say, "No, there must be a reason. There must be a cause for this effect we've observed"? Who's the better scientist? You with your brute fact, or the common sense scientists who say, "No, there's a reason for this. There's a cause of this effect. Let's try to discover what it is"?
Well, I would be the better one because we've actually tested for randomness and demonstrated that randomness is a thing. So there's actual tests we can do to show, is this caused by some predetermined, undetermined force, or is it caused by randomness? This is the hidden variable hypothesis. So what the experiment you're talking about has literally been done, where we're trying to determine, is this effect in quantum mechanics caused by a hidden variable, or is it caused by randomness? And everybody in physics accepts hidden variable is false. It's randomness. Because we've literally done experiments that can demonstrate that.
How would an experiment determine that something is uncaused?
Complicated physics stuff.
So you're saying it's better to just say it's a brute fact and to not look into the reason, the sufficient reason?
No. So brute fact is the philosophy side. The physics side is pure randomness. So randomness is the consensus in physics.
So you think it's better to say, "Oh, it's just random. Don't look into the reason for it"?
Well, no, they are looking into the reason. They're saying, is there a hidden variable? And the consensus is no.
And how surprised will you be if in the future the scientists say, "Oops, oh wow, look how smart we are today, because we figured out that 10, 20 years ago, this randomness nonsense was a bunch of malarkey, because hey, we didn't realize there's this other subtle thing and this other mechanism, and hey, this is great news. Let's pat ourselves on the back again." Right? How surprised will you be when that's the scene? And
that would be like saying, "Oh, look, in 10 years, there's no gravity. Gravity is fake. It's complete fake. Just didn't discover it. Nope, wrong."
So there's no way possible. You're saying there's no way possible.
Like, we could be in the Matrix, so anything's possible. But the consensus of the experts in physics through the experimentation is that gravity is real, and the same thing applies to hidden variable is wrong. So hidden variable is wrong, just like ether is wrong, just like geocentrism is wrong. So it's unlikely that the thing that has been proven wrong is going to suddenly become proven correctly again.
You should prepare yourself to be surprised, because that's the history of the natural sciences, where people say, "Oops, made a mistake. We understand better now because we have more subtle and refined tools to examine the
Right.
inner workings of these mechanisms. Wake up, read the history of natural sciences. It's always the case. We're always
Well, no.
evolving
I
and we're
think you're
always getting more
confusing.
subtle.
I think you're confusing the fact that the current hypothesis was debunked with a more accurate hypothesis, but it's never been the case that a thing that has been proven false was proven not false. That's so like when we prove geocentrism false, it's never been the case that it's actually the center of the universe. Like nope, that's not the case. It's never been the case that when we prove the aether wrong, it came back. The aether came back and was actually right in the end. No, when we prove a scientific theory wrong, it's always been wrong as far as I know. It's never been corrected to be correct. We always just have to find a new, more accurate theory. So, like every hypothesis humans have, they posit the hypothesis and make predictions of what they expect in the hypothesis. And once it's proven wrong, it doesn't later come back and be like, "Oh, it was actually right." That's not the case.
What I'm talking about is ignorance, saying because randomness is nothing but an admission of ignorance. Ignorance can be replaced with knowledge, and our scientific techniques and our instruments can become more delicate and refined, and we can reach deeper into the atomic structure and examine the configurations of matter, energy, and space-time. And so where we before claimed ignorance, we no longer claim ignorance. That's the march of time in the natural sciences that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about some boneheaded theory or hypothesis that was overturned and never considered ever again. You can bring
Well, I
up a
think
million examples of that. You can bring up all the examples of that you want. That's a red herring. What I'm talking about is where someone is ignorant, unable to probe the depths of this X, Y, or Z. And then with the growth of technology and resourcefulness and reason, we can probe eventually
right.
deeper and deeper and deeper.
I
That's what I'm talking about.
I think what you're talking about is referred to as the hidden variable hypothesis. So it's a specific hypothesis that's been tested and proven wrong. In which case, even though you don't realize it, you are referring to one of those boneheaded hypotheses that's been tested and proven false.
I have no
So,
allegiance to that. I have no allegiance to that model because the thing about these scientific models is they're wonderful to the extent that they're practical and that they work. And we, they're just provisional. We use them tentatively, knowing that we're going to improve on these models, right? You admit to that much, right?
yes, we improve on the positive side of the models where they make improvements, but the parts that have been proven false remain false.
No, but the ignorance that we've had in the past, that we've been in darkness, we've been able to shed light, and that's always the case. And it's the case also with the small scale, with the
So yeah,
quantum realm.
you just need to Google hidden variable hypothesis because I think that's
I'm
literally
not.
what whether you
I'm
intend it
not.
or not. I know that you're not like literally familiar with the hidden variable or hypothesis, but I think that's what you're advocating for, and that's the debate that was had. Is this randomness truly random, or is it a hidden variable that's caused by some other thing we just don't know about yet? And then there are tests that have been done that have concluded on that one. So,
Yeah.
but just encourage you to research more on why the hidden variable is rejected by literally everyone in physics.
Yeah. I have very low confidence in the interpretation that's offered up by the majority of physicists today. Sorry.
I'm sure.
Stephen Hawking's, that was just like this absurd. The claims, the bold philosophical metaphysical claims that he was making, he had no right to make them, and he was completely out of his depth. Stick to what you're good at, buddy. Stick to what you're good at.
Right? I think physics is a closer field to metaphysics than anything else we have.
Yeah.
It is the only thing that has any say over metaphysics. Everything else
that's why it's so shameful for a physicist to go out on a limb with a harebrained metaphysics that is so absurd, and to publish these books, and they sell like wildfire, and people gobble it up, and atheists love it because it reinforces their
so
worldview.
I'm
It's just
saying
sad.
if one field is closer to metaphysics than anything else, the people writing in that field are more likely to be right about metaphysics than anybody else.
Well, there are metaphysicians, there are
They're
philosophers, there are
cranks,
theologians.
crackpots. They have no idea what they're talking about. They have no basis in reality.
Let me ask you, because I've met established physicists and PhDs and all kinds of people. I've talked to them, And some of them, surprisingly, do not believe that 1 + 1 = 2. Do you have the opinion that 1 + 1 = 2? Yes or no?
In taxicab math, yeah, there's different versions of math where that's not the case. I mean, depends on what you mean. Are you talking about like in a nominalist sense where there are no like universals and that is simply a descriptive language? Because that's the consensus. Like Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, math and logic are formal languages.
I'm talking you go to the cashier and you give a 20 and you get back change for a 5. Are you upset, or do you just think, oh, this is the deeper level of mathematics? No, I'm talking common sense arithmetic, like primary school, kindergarten, 1 + 1 = 2. Do you buy that? Yes or no? Is it objectively and eternally true? Because I've met physicists who say
Well,
it's not.
so there's two different things there. One is it objectively and eternally true?
Yep.
Which that part is rejected by nominalists. The second part is it true contextually in our universe? Yes, obviously 1 + 1 = 2, but it's a language made up by humans. It's not like a thing that exists objectively independent of
No,
reality.
no. Pi is not a fantasy. Pi is a reality of a relation that's inherent in the circle. And 1 + 1 = 2 is a relation that's eternally and absolutely and objectively and
No,
immutably true.
no,
Period.
no. So it's a figment of human imagination that we made
Are
up
you
to
a
describe reality.
nominalist?
Yes.
Are you a nominalist?
Yes.
You think so? You think pi is a figment of your imagination? 3.14159, whatever.
Yes, the numbers is a description of a relation. The relation is real. It's a feature of reality. The number isn't. Numbers are not real. They're language, like words in English.
So we could map 1 to 1. I remember you talked about this one of the first times we talked, and you said, "Oh, it's just arbitrary. We could say instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and counting that way, we could say 1, 6, 19, 38, 106, or whatever." And what you're basically doing is just mapping on some strange number system onto the chronological or linear progression. So we can do the same thing with pi. So pi ends up being 19.621
Well, no,
in
I
some
think
order,
so.
right?
So
But it's
just
still the same relation.
well, no. So let's say we keep the numbers in the same order relation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I just start saying that the actual order is 1, 7, 15, 32, 5. And so I'm not rechanging the names. I'm just literally just saying them in the wrong order.
Okay, the order. You're rearranging the order.
So one order corresponds to reality and one order does not correspond to reality. But neither of the orders exist. They're just description. So like if I say the sky is blue, that corresponds to reality. If I say the sky is magenta, it does not correspond to reality, or at least not right now. And so those sentences, neither of those sentences are more real than the other sentence. They're both just things we made up in our head, language, figments of language. But the fact of reality is a thing there. That's true.
But even the wavelength of that certain color of blue, you would say that the numbers we attribute to that wavelength are
Nope,
arbitrary?
you got to go back to the words. So numbers are words made up by humans. So like if I say the sky is blue and I say the sky is a potato, one of those is true, one of those is false, but neither of those sentences is more real than the other. They are both equally not real sentences. The numbers are the same. So if I said 1 + 1 = 2, and I said 1 + 1 = 7, one of those corresponds to reality, one of those doesn't, but neither of those sentences are more real than the other.
Yeah, it's like I often say, there's no such thing as a lie because my lips are never violating the laws of physics as they prattle on. Is that what you mean?
Well, no, I mean, so like the numbers, all numbers are just like English words. They're things we've made up. They describe reality, and there are facts of reality. That's true. And some of our language number thingies, like 1 + 1 = 2, corresponds to reality, and some of our number thingies don't correspond to reality. 1 + 1 = 7. But what most like philosophers and physicists mean when they say that 1 + 1 does not inherently or universally mean equal 2 isn't that it doesn't describe reality. It's that the numbers don't exist. It's a language of human figment of our imagination. You can use taxicab math, in which case 1 = 0. There's different languages of math that we can use, and they don't. What matters is do they correspond to reality, not do they objectively exist.
Let's say we've got a written test for children, and it's like, okay, let's say you've seen those blocks, like a square block, the cube, the ball, the cylinder, whatever, and we've got different cutouts, and there's only one appropriate slot to fit in that little cube into. So let's say you give this to a child, and he puts all the right blocks in all the right slots that fit geometrically. And that's the purpose of this cognitive test for these young children. Okay. There's no language. This child can't even speak yet. Is there something akin to your fantasy of language that you can map onto that?
No, those are physical relations, so there's no language there. So the objection to 1 + 1 = 2 is that it's a feature of language.
Okay, so the child putting the blocks in the right hole, that would get more, that has more, a more direct connection with the reality of relations than someone saying 1
Language.
+ 1 = 2 in
Yes.
language. So even if there's like one bunny with a plus sign, a second bunny, and then an equal sign, and then there are a variety of clusters of bunnies that the child can point to. If the child points to the pair of bunnies, so 1 + 1 + 1 = 2, because he pointed to the 2 as the answer to the question. He didn't use language. Is this closer to reality than
So
the mathematician
plus and the equals are language. Those are figments of, those are literally
just the symbols on the chalkboard?
Yeah, those are language.
So it's language, whether written or spoken or whatever. Symbols.
Yeah, it's literally language. It's like literally like a comma or a period or an exclamation point. Math
Or a bunny. A bunny.
Bunny is like an object. So
but if you have a picture, okay,
sure.
You don't have a plus sign, you don't have an equal sign. You just, on one side you have two bunnies, on the other side of this panel you've got different groupings of bunnies, including a pair of bunnies, which is two bunnies. The child points to the two bunnies, he gets the gold star. Is there language involved in that? Because there's a picture of bunnies.
Picture of bunnies? I mean, I don't know.
Is that language?
I don't know. I don't understand what you even just said there. Like pictures of bunnies are pictures of bunnies. There's not necessarily a language there. No.
I'm trying to get past language. I'm trying to get past language because language is a stumbling block for you.
Well, yeah. So when you said there are physicists who say 1 + 1 doesn't universally mean 2, what they're objecting to is the language part, not the relations part. We agree the relations in reality are relations in reality, but the only part that we object to is the language part. So yes, relations in reality are true. Yes.
Yes, eternally, absolutely, objectively, and immutably.
Sort of.
Okay, so if you're willing to admit that, I don't know why you're not a monotheist, because God is that standard of truth and goodness by which you judge.
Because that's gibberish. So like the fact that there are relations in reality doesn't mean there's a God.
Well, there are many reasons why we know with certainty there's a God, but what I'm saying about you psychologically, right now is the fact that you're willing to admit that there's an eternal, absolute, objective reality.
Yeah, everyone thinks that. Most people think that.
And when you make a moral judgment, I don't know if you make moral judgments because you're a nominalist, but if you do make moral judgments.
Yes. I think it's a law of physics, like any other law of physics. Morality is a thing in reality.
You keep campaigning for that, but when you make a judgment, a moral judgment, is the standard of goodness a standard which is subjective and mired in relativism?
No, it's like
temporary,
law of physics.
Or is it? Oh, it is a law of physics.
Yeah,
you're not being silly.
No, it's literally moral naturalism.
So when you smirk, you're only smirking because you copyrighted this idea. That's why.
I wish. No, it's moral naturalism. Just Google Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, moral naturalism. It's not original to me, unfortunately. I wish it was.
You're just delighted by it.
I don't like. If you're referring to my smirking, I think it was to what you were saying earlier. I don't remember what it was bunnies. Exactly. Yeah, the bunnies was funny, and I think I forget what it was. So, you said something about the God thing. Like we have proofs of absolute certainty that we can know for God. That's the smirky thing where I think that's funny. That's
well, yeah, because it's not bunnies all the way down. It can't be bunnies all the way down.
Sure it can.
So talk to me about this. If you're not too bored with it, talk to me about the domain of physics called morality. Just because I'm completely ignorant about that. I had no idea.
Well, yeah, I'm a materialist, naturalist, so I think that everything is physical stuff. So morality could either be something fundamental like the law of gravity, or it could be a higher order emergent property that comes about as a specific pattern from the other laws of physics. So either way, morality would be a product of physical stuff, and it could be objective.
Okay. Do you prefer that it's unchanging and eternal and objective and absolute, or do you prefer that it just keeps giving us moving goalposts so that you're wrong this week. The moral rules change, buddy. Get with
Yes,
the
I think
times.
it's
Which do you prefer?
unchanging. It's a relation like mathematics kind of a
Okay.
thing.
Wow. Wow, you're not far from the kingdom, my friend.
Yes, except mine doesn't drown babies.
My prayers have been answered. So, as an atheist, materialist guy, is prayer real? Is prayer something you engage
No.
in because of the morality of this material universe?
No, prayer doesn't work. We've tested that. We have experiments on that. Prayer definitely doesn't work.
And when you say we've tested it, it means your little prayers didn't come true when you were a child and you're angry at God.
No, I mean,
or
like
what
there's
is
actually been dozens of scientific studies done on prayer and the effectiveness of prayer studies, and they literally don't work.
Prayer works 100% of the time, but you know, if you're praying,
Prayer
if you're
works. Okay.
100%, 100%.
I pray for a gold brick to fall
Yeah.
and land on your keyboard right now.
I'll tell you God's answer right now. No.
No.
Bang! You got your answer right away. Bang! No. Message from God, directly from God. No, Tom, no. No.
So by
Boom.
works you mean God gives an answer? Is that what you mean by works here?
What do you mean works?
Well, you said prayer works, so that was your statement.
Yeah,
Prayer
well, it's all about
works.
garbage in, garbage out, garbage in, garbage out. Just like I have a keyboard, I have a computer, and I can write a program. It could be a good program that works because it's in accordance with God's will and with the nature of things, or it could just be a bunch of nonsense. And we'll get back garbage in, garbage out. So your garbage prayer got an answer. No, that's the answer. Get in line with the will of God, and your prayers will be answered with a yes or a maybe or maybe later.
So if the will of God is that the universe does what the universe does, and I pray that it changes in some way, then all of my prayers are going to be the Geigo thing you said, and nothing's going to happen. But if I pray that the universe does exactly what it's already going to do, then it's going to work in this case because nothing's going to happen. So
yeah, but we have free will. We have free will.
What does that have to do with prayer
That means,
working? The question is does
because
prayer
that
work?
means that prayer is not moot. Prayer is not useless because, hey, guess what? We can affect the future. Our choices can affect the future. Our choices can affect the future. I can't believe I have to explain this to you, but we have free will.
What does that
and
have
our
to do with
choices
prayer
affect
working?
the future. That's why prayer works.
What?
Because we are cooperating with God's creation. We are part of God's creation. We have free will, and we can affect the future. Our choices affect the future.
It makes no sense. Okay, so prayer is when I ask God for something, right? It's like I pray to God, right?
That's one form of prayer. You know, you should, if your prayers aren't working, if you're not getting good results from your prayers, it's probably because you're starting with these petitions.
What?
You should start with thanksgiving. I love you. Thank you.
I don't
Sorry
care.
for my sins.
You can
And
beg
then,
in any way you want. I don't care about the
hey, can you
begging.
do me a favor? Can you put the golden retriever on David's keyboard, please?
That's great. That's great. But so a prayer can't be a result of free will, because if free will does prayer, then you don't need to pray. You just do it yourself. So
God doesn't
prayer,
need our prayers. God doesn't need our prayers, but we need our prayers.
Not following the arguments. The argument is for prayer to work. What it means is that you have to ask God for something, and He has to do something in return. If it's just you doing it, then you don't need to ask God. The first step 1's done. You just do it yourself. So there's no prayer in I did it myself. So prayer is literally you ask God for something, He does something differently. For it to work, those two things are kind of important. So if I don't ask for God, or I don't ask help for God and He just does it, that's not prayer. If I do ask for God and He doesn't do anything, well, then the prayer didn't do anything. So for the prayer to work, I have to pray, ask for God for something. He has to acknowledge this and then do something in return. Those are the two features required for prayer to work. Free will has nothing to do with any of that.
Sure it does. We need to freely choose to ask God to help us with the stuff we want help with. Like, for example, when I asked you to give me Darth Dawkins' contact information, it's like, yeah, I can go look it up myself, whatever. But it's like you know him, so there's like an opportunity for me to use your connection and get me a connection with this guy. Didn't pan out. The answer was basically no, do it yourself. But I accept that. But it's the same thing with anything. We have free will. We can ask those around us to help us. Like, hey, you have access to your workplace. You work somewhere that has a lot of, you work at the library, can you get me in there? Even though it's a very secretive library, can you get me in there? And the guy will say yes or no, right? So it's that relationship thing. It's like we have friends in high places, and we can open a lot of doors. And God is our friend in a high place, and he can open those doors if we ask him. And if we are in his good graces, he can help us, and he wants to help us. And that's what prayer is. And it's intimately connected with our free will. We have to freely ask him to help us and to give us the strength to do what we want to accomplish. Like if you have any problems, like for example, with your social life or whatever, you can ask God, like, hey, give me the strength, give me the wisdom to improve my, whatever it is with my autism or whatever, like we were discussing earlier. Like you can do that and you'll see the results. You will see the results for sure, for sure, for sure.
Okay, that has nothing to do with my question, but okay. Super chat from P. Bathulu. If we can affect the future, does the deity know the outcome beforehand? If the deity does know the outcome beforehand, then it's not an effect on the future.
Well, to say it's beforehand is to completely miss the point of eternity. God is not spatio-temporal. He's not a creature. He's the creator of space-time. He's outside of space-time. He is not waiting for the future and looking back on the past. He sees all time. He's the master of time. He's the architect of space-time, right? So it's not like God sees it beforehand. God sees everything, past, present, and future, as the eternal present, right? But we are free. We are spatio-temporal creatures. We can make choices that affect our journey, our pilgrimage here in this fallen but beautiful world. So you really need to make a distinction. Don't make a category, Eric. God's not just a big man in the sky with a past, present, and future. He's the creator of space-time.
So the question is can we affect the future? And if God already knows the future, then we can't change it because it's already the way God knows it's going to be.
God sees right now the future choices that I will make and the future consequences of the choices that I'll make and the future choices that are based on the consequences of the choices that I made and so on and so forth.
Can I change those? I want to change the order of those.
Yes.
So God knows it, and then I change it, which means it was false, which means he doesn't know it.
The changes, he knows all the changes.
No. So I'm saying all of those things. I want to change the things he knows. So he knows that I'm going to do all of this stuff, some patterned line or whatever. I want to say, I want to change that. Can I change that?
No, you cannot change that. No.
So I can't change the future.
You can change the future because what that is. No. But listen. You're not getting it. Maybe you're trying not to understand it, but it's very simple. We can affect the future, and the effect we have on the future is called, wait for it, it's called the future. That's the future. There's only one future. There are no multiverses. So there's one future.
If I ask, can I change the future? And you're saying, yes, what you're doing is called the future. That's called a contradiction, because the question I'm asking is, can I change that thing? Not do the thing as it is now. So if I'm doing the thing as it is now, that's the future. And I want to say, I want to change that so it isn't that. So the whole question is here is the line of the future that God knows, and I want to change that. And you're saying, well, you can change that by doing it. That's literally not the question.
Yeah. What God is looking at is the final version of the sculpture that you're working on right now. And you're free to sculpt this way or that way, and you can change your mind 1,000,000 times per second if you have the CPU power in your brain. You can change all you want. What God's looking at is the final product. What you're in the middle of is an ongoing work, and there's a process and this and that, the other thing, and you can go this way or that way. In the moment, because you're a spatio-temporal creature with free will, you can make these decisions, and God knows that you have freedom. He gave you your freedom, and he knows ultimately what final product will be. You're on a journey of discovery. God's not on a journey of discovery. God knows that you're bound for heaven or hell. He knows that, and he knows which one it is. You don't know. I don't know. And it would be wrong for me to condemn you to hell. I hope you're going to make it to heaven by making better and better choices in this work in progress that we call life here below. So yeah, it seems perplexing, but we are finite creatures, spatio-temporal creatures.
Not at all perplexing. It's just a very simple question. God knows the future. I want to change that future that God knows. Can I change?
You can't change that. No, you can't change that.
That was the first part of the question.
You can't change that.
That was the point of the question. Very easy. Not perplexing. Very easy. Second question.
But what is that? Hold on. It's very important to emphasize. What is that future? What is that future that you're in the middle of creating? because you can decide right now. You can decide right now. Do you see it? Do you understand? You can decide right now which way you go. You have the freedom to decide which way you go. And
So
yes, God already knows which way you will have chosen.
do you know what determined means?
Yeah.
So can I change the predetermined outcome
It's
that
not
God
predetermined.
knows?
It's not predetermined. It's not predetermined. It's
So,
not predetermined.
so
When
if
you
wait,
remember the past, you
go
don't
back,
determine the past. You're just
go back,
observing it.
go back. So there's this outcome God knows. He knows the outcome of what it's going to be like.
Yep.
So it's determined.
No, it's not determined. It's not determined. It's not determined.
If it's not determined,
It's known. It's known. It's not determined.
those are synonyms. Those are the same
No,
thing.
no,
It
no.
can't be known and not be determined. Those are synonyms.
Okay, watch very carefully. Watch very carefully. Watch this. Watch. What did I just do?
Drink water.
Yeah, you know about that, right? Did you cause that?
No.
Yeah. So you have the knowledge, but you did not determine it. Period. Same thing with
Right.
God.
I
Same thing with God.
I obviously
Same thing
didn't.
with God.
I don't care if God determined it. That's a different question. Obviously, he did. He had to create everything. But if God knows it's going to happen, and there's no way to make it not happen at time X, and it's going to happen at time X, reality has determined at time X this event will happen. It's determined in reality.
No, because you're thinking about God as being spatio-temporal, looking forward, like, hey, I'm looking forward to what's going to be the future.
That's irrelevant to the argument. It doesn't matter if God is spatio-temporal or not. God could literally be outside of space-time, and B theory of time could be true. I don't care. If something is necessarily going to happen at time X and there's no way for me to change it.
It's not necessary. That's the thing. You have the choice. You have the choice. You shape your future, and God sees the shape that you shaped it as. You chose to shape it, and he sees the shape.
Let's go back to necessary. So
it's not necessary.
God knows all the things in the future are going to happen. Is there a way to change the things that God knows are going to happen? Or is it necessary? Is this necessarily going to happen the way God knows it? Or is there a way to change it so it's not necessarily going to happen the way God knows it?
No, it's an absolute, eternal, immutable
necessary fact. Is that what are those all synonyms with the word necessary? Because they sound like
it's only necessary. It's only necessary from the point of view of eternity. It's only necessary from the point of view of eternity.
Is it necessary? That's the point.
It's necessarily
all
the case.
Words of all uses of the word necessary entail from the universe's perspective.
Right. But when I took that drink of water and you saw it and you knew it in retrospect, you didn't cause it. I was free to take that drink of water. I took it, and now it's fixed. It's fixed. That's reality. That's part of reality. It's an eternal truth now. It's an objective truth. It's an absolute truth that I took that drink of water. I freely chose to take that drink of water at that particular time.
So that's where the contradiction is that if it's determined, you didn't have a choice. You couldn't not do it because free will means could it have been otherwise? Could it have been otherwise? If it's necessary, if it's in the universe's perspective, it's going to happen one way or the other, and there's no way to change it, then it could not have been otherwise.
I could have chosen otherwise, but I didn't. I chose that. I chose to illustrate my point by drinking the water.
Debunked that. I have debunked that. Next question. If a deity is on the outside looking into reality, how does it affect reality at points within reality?
God is immanent. He's truly immanent, truly transcendent. How does he affect reality? He sustains reality. He created reality. He sustains reality. Nothing can happen without God's support, without sustaining it. Right? So it's like literally everything, all the fancy physics and science and quantum stuff that you atheists love and admire so much is the activity of the angels. They're in there doing their thing. That's what I believe. That's not official church teaching. That's just what I believe.
Okay.
The angels dancing on the head of a pin.
All right. So Randolph asks, if God can't change the future, then he's not all powerful.
He could do what he wants to do, but he chose to give us free will.
So
he's not in time. He's not in time. He's not in time. He's not in time. His will is always done. His will is always done. And part of his will was to create creatures and creation and to give the human creatures free will and reason.
So can God change the future that he knows is going to happen?
No, of course not. That would be a complete contradiction. That would be like that God can't lift a stone. He didn't create a stone too heavy for him to lift or whatever. It's just like there's no weakness in God. There's no weakness where God's going to change his mind or where God's going to second guess himself. There's no weakness in God where he can't lift a stone that he created. There's no weakness or imperfection in God where he'll be angry or repent or anything like that, even though there's plenty of talk in the Bible about these whatever.
God can't do basic stuff. Got it.
God's not a big man in the sky. God is God. So don't make the category mistake. God is infinitely perfect in every pure perfection. And eternity, he sees creation from the beginning to the end, from the beginning of time when he created space-time to the end, the second coming of Christ, and all eternity outside of space-time. And he's sitting there looking at this object, which is all of space-time.
And he can't change it.
Can't?
Yeah, you said he can't go against his nature, and his nature is to leave it the way it is. Therefore, he can't change it.
Yeah, he will not contradict his own will. His will was to create creation and to create creatures, including rational, free creatures.
Right. So God can't change anything that his will doesn't determine to happen.
He does not contradict himself. That would be a weakness, not a strength.
He can't.
He can't be weak. He can't be weak. He can't contradict himself. He can't be flaky. He can't be like, oh, I made a mistake.
His nature determines the things he's going to do, and he can't go against that. You know what that's called in neurology? It's called a brain.
There are two dogmas. One of the dogmas is there are more than two dogmas, but the two relevant dogmas here are that ad intra God acts of necessity, ad extra God acts freely. So within the Trinity, within the life of the Trinity, God loves himself of necessity. He wills, his intellect and his will in all of his internal life. That's all of necessity. And what he does ad extra with creation and these sorts of things, that's done with free will. So these are things to ponder as you try to plumb the depths of the mystery of the uncaused first cause. There's a lot to chew on there. And
sounds like a brain. Sounds like literally just neurology. Oh, the core of your being can't be changed because it's determined by your physical nature. Oh God.
It's much deeper than that. It's much deeper because the brain is here today, gone tomorrow, and constantly in flux.
So he has a magically eternal brain that is determined just like our brains are determined. Okay.
No, he's pure spirit, no material.
Spirit brain. Okay, he has a spirit brain.
He's part of matter energy. He's not a configuration of matter energy in space-time.
That's great. Okay. So P. Bothulu asks, it can't be known and unknown. It can't be determined and undetermined. Yes, it does sound like a contradiction.
It's known, but it's determined only in the sense that God gave us free will and he allows us to exercise our free will. And that work that's in progress now, because we are in space-time now, we're all doing this project called life and we're making choices moment to moment. And some people mess up and then they self-correct. Some people are going really well and then they mess up. It's a wild journey, life, right? And God is determined that we have free will and intellect, and we can make these choices. But at the end of the day, at the end of time, it is what it is. Hey, you made your bed. Now you got to lie in it.
Yes, period. God has determined that we have free will. I love it.
That's right.
Not a contradiction.
He has willed it.
But he can't change his will. It's just...
Yeah, we have free will, and that's a fact. That's an established fact. He's not going to change his mind.
Got any other questions? Anything else interesting?
Are you talking to me or your?
Yeah, you.
No, I think we're good. It's 1:00. I'll probably go eat my lunch now. But appreciate the chit chat. You seem to perk up a little bit once we started talking about God. It seems like you like that.
Yes, it's much more entertaining when there are like concrete contradictions in what you're saying. It makes it much more entertaining.
You got how many gotchas did you get on me?
37.
Oh, that maps onto my 0, my worldview. So really nice talking to you. I really appreciate it, and give my love to Jeff, your assistant there. He's a really cool guy. Shout out to you, Jeff. Thanks for
Yep.
hooking me
Shout
up.
out to Jeff. Jeff is awesome.
And hopefully we'll talk again soon. Thanks so much for taking the time, Tom.
Yep.
I really appreciate it.
Thanks for chatting. Really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you later. Have a nice day.
Have a good one. Have a nice day.